If you can go ahead and mute out all the lines for me, just so we can have clear sound quality. And as I said, this is going to be a Q&A call. And so go ahead and open up. And through your chat box or through your phone or through over Zoom, you will be able to ask questions and everything. Aloha, everybody. My name is Jet. Actually, I've got residences there on the Big Island of Hawaii, and I've just been traveling all over. I've been Thailand, Bali, just a bunch of travel and stuff. But my background has been in helping people build and develop businesses around the world. And, I've had a really great track record over my business career. I've been able to help over 100 people become millionaires in some of the different ventures I've been involved in the past. And the reason I'm starting with this is because I want each and every one of you to understand that what I'm sharing with you tonight, this is the most impactful, compelling information of my business career. I really believe over these next 6 years, by 2024, I'll be able to help over 3,000 people become multimillionaires from this information I'm getting ready to share with you tonight. And so, as I said, this is a Q&A call. You are going to be able to get your questions answered. And when I make a statement like that, it's because of timing. I compare this information I'm going to share with you right now, I compare it to the late 70s and early 80s, people being able to get on a conference call and find out about the information of how the internet was going to change the world. You know, if you relate back to those early 80s, if you remember when the internet came out, most people just thought it was for computer geeks, or they just thought it was for pornography. It was like, I can go send a letter over at the post office. Why would I need to buy a computer to get information to people? And people like, I never put my credit card on things. Someone will steal my information and steal my money. And so what happened in the early 80s, there was $1 billion of VC, venture capital money, that came in, and that put together platforms to make the internet easily accessible to the masses. And so from that investment of capital, you had companies like Amazon.com get started. Amazon started selling books, and people would buy then books over the internet. You had companies like eBay get started, and people would start exchanging goods through eBay. And then a campaign started by AOL around the world where they started giving away free email addresses. And they got tens of millions of people around the world to get on email. And it was from that infrastructure that the masses started seeing the value of the internet. And I think we've all heard the stories of the people who become billionaires through the internet. Jeff Bezos of Amazon.com, he's $76 billion. He's now the second wealthiest man in the world. He surpassed Warren Buffett. As we all know, Bill Gates, the wealthiest there at Microsoft. You heard of all the people who became millionaires. You've heard of people who just started at Google and were given stock and were secretaries and stuff, and they became multimillionaires. And so that changed the world. Why am I sharing this with you? Because the next technology that's going to create this type of vast wealth is called cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin. And basically, around the world, people are going to start exchanging value, doing their banking right over their computer, where they're their own bank. And basically, Bitcoin was put together because of what happened in 2008, that global financial crisis. So many people were affected financially out there. And the idea was to create like gold over the internet, something that to store value, something that didn't have the banking community in control of it, something that doesn't have governments in control. So like with Janet Yellen in the Federal Reserve, she's always printing up more and more money, making the dollars we have worth less and less. The idea was to do gold 2.0, gold over the internet. And you guys, Bitcoin has been the #1 investment in the world since that 2008 global financial crisis. I mean, if you would have put $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2009, at the end of last year, 2016, that would have been worth over $9 million. Think about that. Think about if you would have been on a conference call in 2009 and people said, hey, this is going to be the currency over the internet. This is the way people get exchange funds. You need to invest in this. And, you know, if you would have just dropped 10,000 into that investment in 2009, 2016, you'd have $90 million, you guys, from a 10 grand investment. That's what I'm talking about, life-changing here. We're going to share with you how to accumulate this asset and take advantage because we know where it's headed over these next 6 years. And so what the purpose of this call is really just to make sure you don't have regret. You know, obviously, if you were on a call in 2009 and had been informed of that information and then you didn't take action on it, you'd have a lot of regret right now in your life. You really would wish you would have secured your wealth for yourself and your family. Well, I want to make sure that doesn't happen over these next 6 years. That's how come I want to make sure you get your questions answered so you can make an intelligent and wise decision to take advantage of this, because we're talking about literally the decision you make tonight can mean multiple millions of dollars to yourself and your family. So what we're doing is we're teaching people how to accumulate that asset of Bitcoin through our mining operation. The name of our company is called Bitclub Network, and we started in September 2014, and Bitclub Network has become the #6 mining company in the world last year in 2016. So I want you to think about that. Since 2009, hundreds of thousands of people have attempted to mine for Bitcoin. But we started in 2014, but when we started with one of the top miners in the world. This guy understands all the intricacies of the mining. And so we're crowdfunding this, allowing our members to participate in the amount of wealth that we're getting on a daily basis. And in 2016, we're the 6th largest mining company, and that was just off 100 petahash of mining equipment. 100 petahash is equivalent to 100 million laptop computers that secure this worldwide network of Bitcoin or the blockchain. Well, we purchased an additional 100 petahash the first quarter of this year. So we've already doubled our capacity. And by the end of this year, we plan to purchase an additional 100 petahash. So that'll be 300 petahash, 300 million equivalent 300 million laptop computers securing the blockchain. We feel that type of capital investment will have us in the top 3 companies in the world in terms of the mining distribution with Bitcoin. So what we're sharing with people on how to take advantage of this to secure long-term wealth is through this mining operation, we have a strategic plan in place. And it starts at what's called a founder's position. A founder's position is $3,600. And so with the founder's position, you know, you could just buy Bitcoin right now. Right now, Bitcoin is selling for like $1,100. So if you just purchased it, you would get 3 Bitcoin. And if you held those 3 Bitcoin, let's say to 2020, when we expect Bitcoin to be up around the $18,000 to $20,000 range, then your $3,600 investment would grow to like $60,000. Obviously, you'd be very happy with that. That's a much better rate of return than your mutual funds or your bank savings or your annuities or whatever it is you're doing right now, saving and accumulating your money. However, through our mining program, we are sharing with people how to take advantage of the magic of compounded interest. And on that newwealth.info, they talked about if you took a penny and doubled it every day, how a penny doubled daily in 30 days would be worth over $5 million. Most people don't understand compounding. Well, we are compounding your mining pool shares every day to help each and every individual achieve incredible personal wealth. So on the Zoom camera right now, it's showing our strategic plan. In the blue there, you see our results over the first 8 months. Starting August of last year to the end of March, we saw the distribution we were getting every month by reinvesting our mining pool shares 100%. And so we projected that over to 2020. If a person started this month in the month of April, then we can now show them, give them an idea of just how much Bitcoin they'd accumulate. Because with 100% reinvested, all throughout the end of this year, 2017, as well as compounded throughout all of 2018, another 365 days of compounding that mining pool shares. So if you go there January 2019, what you see is that that's when you start taking your Bitcoin from your account. And by that compounding over that year and a half, you're going to be averaging anywhere around 3 Bitcoin a month coming into your account, 3 to 4 Bitcoin. And so basically it just comes each day, you're going to be seeing fractional shares. So throughout all of 2019 and through the first 6 months of 2020, what we're doing is want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible for you before this next halving event. And the halving event means that currently there's 12.5 Bitcoin given to miners every 10 minutes for securing this worldwide network. And in the halving event, that amount will cut to half, the 6.25 Bitcoin. So this strategic plan is set up to get you as much Bitcoin as possible before that halving event, July 2020. So basically, in that first example there, you see if Bitcoin just gets to 10,000 of Bitcoin in 2020, through the strategic plan, you're going to accumulate some 44 Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin already has a history with the halving event. When it halved the first time in 2012, 3 to 6 months after, the price went up 100%. When it halved last year, 2016, 3 to 6 months later, the price increased over 100%. So basically in 2020, if it's at 10,000 and you've got 44 Bitcoin, and so by the end of the year, as it increases 100%, that would be $20,000 of Bitcoin. That means your $3,600 investment would have grown to $880,000 for you. And the best thing about this investment is that you continue, if you can still leave it on that page, I want to make another point on that page, so please go back to that. The best thing about this investment is that you continue to receive new Bitcoin year in and year out. And so as the price does keep rising year in and year out, you'll still be getting 1 Bitcoin a month or 1.5 or something. You'll still get Bitcoin. And all the economists have said when 1% of the world's population is utilizing Bitcoin, it's going to be over 100,000 a Bitcoin. So that's how come we're talking about multi-million-dollar wealth by doing this investment. So what I'm recommending for people is to do 3 founders positions, like a $10,500 investment. Because right now, so many people have money in an IRA or a 401k, they're saving for their retirement, but your rate of return is so poor. You got it in a mutual fund, might be getting 3, 4, 5% a year. You pay fees on that stuff, and you're not going to become a multimillionaire from these traditional type of investments. And so what I'm advising people to do is take this money you were putting towards your retirement and use it toward the mining operation. So now you're accumulating an asset that will only rise in value year in and year out. And so if you get 3 of the founders positions, the first one is set up, and then you set up the other 2 founders positions up under that first one, you're actually paid over that 3-year time period some $80,000 from the additional Bitcoin going into your account just by setting those positions up under you. So you're getting additional money. Now you have over 40 Bitcoin from 3 different accounts, 120 Bitcoin. So now when Bitcoin's at 20,000 a Bitcoin, you've accumulated $2.4 million. You have now set up multi-million-dollar wealth for yourself. And we're talking about, as soon as the end of 2020. That's why I'm so excited about this. We can literally help people because of being an early adopter, because of aligning with one of the top mining companies in the world. We can literally help people accumulate enough assets to become multi-millionaires in a very short period of time. So thanks for sharing that. And, for the passive investors, that's all involved. All you're doing is taking advantage of our mining operations. You're accumulating the asset. As I said, you keep getting it year in and year out anyway. So yeah, you've got a couple million, but you still get new Bitcoin 2025, 2030, 2040, 2050. You're going to still be getting Bitcoin from the mining operation. So you can utilize this for estate planning. If your children, you want to pass on wealth, you can give them your password and your username at Bitclub Network. They can take over those accounts. Now you can pass wealth on to your family without creating a taxable event. And so before we open up for question and answers, though, I know there are some people on the phone line that were interested in actually earning Bitcoin immediately. They want to start making Bitcoin right now. So for the passive investors, I want to be clear. There's nothing you have to do. You don't have to share this with anybody. There's no work involved. It's just making an investment to accumulate an asset. But for people who want to earn Bitcoin, we are setting up the most lucrative aspect of Bitclub Network for people who want to share about this within the next couple months. And it's a subsidiary company that we have called CoinPay. CoinPay is a smart payment app where merchants can now accept Bitcoin. And it's like being the early adopters and becoming part of the Bitcoin economy. And so in the next 5 years, everyone is going to be accepting Bitcoin. But because you have this information right now as a founding position in Bitclub Network, you can tell businesses about the advantage of accepting Bitcoin. And in doing this, you can get paid on every transaction that happens in that business as long as they're in business. So here's what I mean. This is no salesmanship. This is no sales involved with this. This is just giving information. The restaurants you like eating at right now, the place where you get your car fixed, the flower shop you buy at. Whenever you pull out your MasterCard or Visa right now, you would simply say, oh, I want to pay in CoinPay. Excuse me, I want to pay in Bitcoin. And they're going to say, oh, well, we don't accept Bitcoin. You say, oh, but can I talk to the manager? Can I speak to the owner? And you say, how come you don't accept Bitcoin? If I pay with my credit card, you are paying 3% to the bank. But if I pay in Bitcoin, I prefer to pay in Bitcoin. And if I pay you in Bitcoin, you only pay 1%. You're able to keep more of my money if I pay in Bitcoin. But the other major advantage is there's no chargebacks. You never have to worry about a chargeback with Bitcoin because so many small businesses have been through negative experiences where they hit with chargebacks and then a bank puts holds on their accounts and messes up their cash flow. So that's another major advantage. But you really want to become part of the Bitcoin economy because I'm part of a membership club called Bitclub Network. And we have tens of thousands of members. And they have Bitcoin. They want to spend their Bitcoin. If you sign up to accept Bitcoin through our app, we'll direct customers to you for free. We'll give you free advertising to people who have Bitcoin, being able to help you bring more revenue into your business. And so I know we got a lot of people on the line in Hawaii, in Japan, where tourism to Hawaii is very large from Japan. They've already legalized Bitcoin as a currency there. There's going to be 260,000 stores in summer in Japan accepting Bitcoin. And so as people are traveling, they would love to spend Bitcoin instead of converting their yen to US dollars. So you'll be able to tell business owners there, hey, Japanese people come to your business, you want to accept Bitcoin because they want to spend in Bitcoin. And, it's just a win-win for them, less fees, getting new business in, getting our membership base in. It helps them make money, and it's easier to transact money that way. So that 1% that they charge in accepting Bitcoin, 0.5% of that, half of that, is given to our founders for setting up and letting businesses know about this. So you take a 10, 15-minute conversation, educate a person about why they want to become part of the Bitcoin economy. Now you're paid on that year in and year out as long as they're in business. You can set up, over the next year and a half, 40, 50, 60 businesses who accept Bitcoin. You're literally talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of personal income coming to you just for helping businesses become part of the Bitcoin economy. So that's very exciting and very lucrative way of earning Bitcoin. It's paid every day. It's placed right in your account. Another way is through our crowdfunding, though. As I said, we're buying another 100 petahash of mining equipment. That's hundreds of millions of dollars, you guys. And so you can share this with people you know, friends you know who are saving for retirement, people you know who maybe have always wanted to become wealthy, just never had a vehicle to make it happen. You can share with people the #1 investment in the world that's proven, that's documented, and how they can now accumulate that asset through our mining operation. And in crowdfunding, letting other people know about this, your crowdfunding efforts, we pay you a referral fee. It's paid in Bitcoin. It's placed right in your account every single day. And so as you're accumulating that Bitcoin, we can share with you different places of how to utilize that and improve your lifestyle right now. We share with people how they can load it up on a Visa card. So anywhere in the world Visa is accepted, you can spend your Bitcoin that way. Also, there's so many companies who already accept Bitcoin for travel, Expedia.com and cheapair.com. So all your airfare, all your hotels can be booked using Bitcoin. Those of you who shop at Amazon.com, that's the largest shopping network in the world. Well, basically, people have no idea that if you pay for your purchases in Bitcoin, you can save 15 to 35% off the money you're spending right now when you use Amazon and you pay with your MasterCard or your Visa. This is done through a website called purse.io. Basically, you actually can request the discount you want. If you want that item right away, you would only request a 15 to 20% discount. But if you can wait 2-3 weeks to receive that item, you can request a 35% discount paying in Bitcoin. And so let's say you're buying a $1,000 TV and you don't mind waiting 3 weeks to get it. You can now say a 30% discount. You can pay $700 for that TV because you're spending in Bitcoin. And all it's doing is saving you money. This is available for everyone right now. Most people just have no idea that they can save money if they spent in Bitcoin as opposed to utilizing their MasterCard or their Visa. So in accumulating and getting more and more Bitcoin coming to yourself, there's so many ways to utilize this and improve your lifestyle even right now as you're accumulating your mining profits for your multi-million-dollar estate here. And the final thing I want to share in this before we open it up for questions and answers, because to me, this is actually the most lucrative aspect of the Bitclub Network membership. It's the connection with our leadership team. You see, our leaders are so connected in the worldwide cryptocurrency field. These people, they don't like live in a house and work like regular people. They're on planes. They're traveling all around the world. They're meeting with top miners around the world, meeting with these top companies. We've got relationships with people like Sir Richard Branson from the UK, relationships with people like Roger Ver there in Japan. He's known as Bitcoin Jesus. He's already funded over 20 different companies in the Bitcoin field, and you know, he's will be a multi-billionaire himself. I mean, all these relationships, they're working and know our leadership team. And so when other opportunities come out, our leadership team let our members know so you can take advantage of that financially. So like toward the end of last year, we were told about a cryptocurrency called Ethereum, where people think that Ethereum might be the way Bitcoin in parallel to the internet might be like Microsoft, which is the first mover's advantage and the one that's going to always be there throughout history. But Apple came in and had all that tremendous success. Well, Ethereum, a lot of people think might be the Apple in the cryptocurrency field. It has a lot of other features besides a store of value. And so we started mining for Ethereum. So we have people accumulating Ethereum, and Ethereum has actually increased in price 300% already the first quarter of this year. And so you see it there at $48, where it was at $12 in January. That we were told about a cryptocurrency by the name of Zcash. Zcash is a completely anonymous cryptocurrency, and there's a built-in worldwide demand right now. Over $1 trillion of monies of people wanting to be able to move money around the world completely anonymously. And so we started mining for Zcash. We're accumulating Zcash. Once again, that one has increased over 300% in the first quarter of this year. a lot of people think Zcash will be like Bitcoin. It'll be another one of these $1,000 coins, just like Bitcoin is right now. And so we're accumulating that. We were told about Club Coin. Club Coin was specifically put together to help our members accumulate wealth. 80 million Club Coin has been distributed to our Bitclub Network members. You can currently buy it on the open market at 28 cents a coin. Well, we have a strategic plan to get Club Coin up to over $5 by the end of this year. And so it's included in our CoinPay, our smart payment app, so merchants identify our members because they pay in Club Coin. Also, we're going to start allowing our members to get their daily Bitcoin pay. A portion of that can be in Club Coin. And so since it's all been distributed, whenever members request to be paid that way, it has to be purchased on the open market. So think of millions of dollars of purchases are being made daily. Obviously, the price of Club Coin is going to rise. And we think it can be as high as $10 by next year. And so when I got that information, I went and bought hundreds of thousands of Club Coin at 30 cents because that's a way I'll be able to make millions of dollars as that moves to $10 a coin. So my point is this. I'll leave you with this final point, then I'll answer questions. Relate back to the internet. If you were connected and knew people who were having meetings and understood the money that was being invested in the companies like Google, and knew what was going on with companies like Facebook and YouTube and Uber, these internet companies. If you were being connected with folks and they could tell you these companies were starting and coming and they were going to be spreading and they're going to change the world in cryptocurrency, but they're telling you that information as they're getting started, you can then take your profits. You can take some of the Bitcoin that you're earning and making from crowdfunding or from our merchant program and got in your account. And now you can invest like in these opportunities where you can put 10,000 in this or 10,000 in that. And that might be one of those things like 10,000 go to 90 million, like what we saw happen with Bitcoin from 2009 to 2016. That is what we're talking about with your membership. You'll be finding out about the next Google and Facebook and YouTube in the cryptocurrency field. And to me, that's the most incredible part about this, finding out about how to create wealth so many different ways from this relationship in our membership team. So as I said, we just don't want you to have regret. This is a chance to completely transform your life financially. You're going to want to thank the person who got you on this call, because this is like letting you know about the internet in the early stages and how it's going to change the world. In 5 years, everywhere you see MasterCard and Visa, you're going to see a sign, we accept Bitcoin. In 10 years, everyone around the world will be moving Bitcoin through their computer. Your grandmother will send an email on her computer to send $10 to her grandson for his birthday, and she'll be moving it in Bitcoin and not even know she's using Bitcoin. It's going to be in all the software. Everything's going to be easy for people all around the world to use. But because you're finding out about this now, you can benefit financially as the world gets educated about this. So that's sort of my brief overview. And let's just go ahead and open it up for questions. As I said, if you're on a phone line, if we can open up and unmute everybody so they can talk on a phone line. If you are on Zoom, you can press the button on Zoom to come up and ask your questions that way. And then also we have a chat box. So through chat, if you want to just write your question, you can do that. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to make sure you get your questions answered so you can make an intelligent decision for yourself and your family to take advantage of the next technology that's going to change the world. This is going to change the banking industry. It's going to change the way money is moved all around the world. But by being on this call tonight, you're finding out about it before 99% of the world knows anything about this. So by you being an early adopter, that's how come you can achieve multi-million-dollar wealth for yourself and your family. So does anyone have any questions? And, you know, if you got a guest on the phone and they're not speaking up, but, you know, they asked you a question before or earlier, go ahead and ask their question for them. But let's make sure you get their questions answered. Anyone? No one? No questions?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go right ahead. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Jarvis from Honolulu.
Hey, Jarvis,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I had a couple questions for you.
Okay.
I was looking at something on a website last night. It was called Market Watch, and they were talking about Litecoin, Lite coin.
Correct.
Have you ever heard about it? You
Oh,
ever heard about it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
actually
yeah.
invested in Litecoin. I own, I bought, let me see, I bought 25,000 Litecoin at $4, and right now it's at $11. So I've already made close to 250% in Litecoin. So that's something I invested in as well.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
they were talking about a split in Bitcoin. Is there such thing as a split going on right now?
No, basically it's called a scaling issue. Right now, there's like 1 megabyte blocks of information. And basically these blocks are being filled because more and more people are using Bitcoin every day. Hundreds of thousands of people are getting wallets. Hundreds of thousands of people are starting in Bitcoin. And so the blocks are getting full. And so to be able to increase the capacity, the block size needs to be increased. And so there's a discussion right now of, are we going to double the block size, go from 1 block to 2 block to allow this increase? Or there's some developers who are supposed to be some of the brightest and smartest developers in the world. They put together another plan, which they call segway witness. And segregated witness is a way to expand the capacity without increasing the block size. So it's just a debate in terms of what's going to be the best way to scale this up to allow more people to exchange Bitcoin all around the world. And you know, that's being worked out. And the one thing I really want to assure everybody is that there's been $1.5 billion of VC, venture capital money, invested in Bitcoin last year, 2016. So the smartest, the best investors in the world have come to this space to make this easy for the world to be able to utilize, just the same way the internet. And so whether they're going to scale through increasing the block or through segregated witness, all that is going to get worked out. But the idea is simply to be able to increase the capacity so more and more people will be able to use Bitcoin around the world. And that's just being decided in terms of what's going to be the best way to do that.
Okay. Yeah, because I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of spinning my wheels on which one to invest in. Because I heard I was going to, do it with you. Then I heard about the denial from the stock market and everything. And then while I was doing that, there was one that came out. It was called D9, Delta 9. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yeah, you got to understand. I really don't want you to get confused about this. This is important for you to understand, Jarvis. There's over 600 different cryptocurrencies out there. But Bitcoin is what Microsoft is to the internet. That's what Bitcoin is. And when you say, oh, you did invest because the ETF did not get approved, that's one ETF. There's 2 other ETFs up for approval. ETF is definitely going to get approved. It's just a matter of when. But basically, people like Sir Richard Branson believe that Bitcoin will be at 18 to 20,000 of Bitcoin in 2020. And that's because of the factors that he feels it's impossible for that not to happen. Number one is the online gaming community. Online gaming is sick of dealing with MasterCard and Visa. They're sick of the chargebacks. It's easier to accept money from their customers in Bitcoin, easier to pay their customers in Bitcoin. Well, that's a $35 billion industry. That industry is going to be moving to Bitcoin. The ETF, the Winklevoss twins from Facebook, yes, they just got denied their ETF. But there's 2 other ETFs coming up for approval. It's not a question of if an ETF is going to be approved or not. It's simply a question of when. It's definitely going to happen. And when that happens, there'll be hundreds of millions of dollars of institutional money placed in Bitcoin. And so that's going to drive the price up. Countries like Japan have just legalize Bitcoin as a legal currency. So you got a couple of the most wealthiest countries in the world after the U.S., after China, is Japan. They just legalized the currency. Mexico has it on the books to legalize it. The country of Singapore, the largest shipping port in the world, they have international ships coming to the country. They're making a Bitcoin-friendly society. All the Bitcoin ATMs, all the shipping will be able to move currency through Bitcoin. And so Dubai, they're working to make it a Bitcoin-friendly society. So as more and more countries do this, the price of Bitcoin has to rise. It has to go up simply because it's a limited quantity. So yeah, these other alternative coins, money can be made on that. And we get advice, as I said, we were told about Zcash. We were told about Ethereum. We're told about these other things. But Jarvis, for yourself and your family, to make sure you secure your wealth, you have to do this mining. You have to go ahead and set yourself up to where you'll keep getting Bitcoin for the rest of your life. Because if you don't do that, you're going to regret that decision, because in 10 years, or when Bitcoin's up over 100,000, or there's just a announcement made by some top investors in the world that 2030, they cannot see it possible Bitcoin being over 500,000 of Bitcoin. They can't see it being any less than that. And if you don't do this mining now for 3,600, you won't be getting new Bitcoin in 2030 and 2040, because this is an asset. By doing the mining, you keep getting Bitcoin. So yeah, you can accumulate a couple million by 2020, but you want to do this first before you deal with any of these other alternative coins, because this is like Microsoft. This is going to always be there. There might be an Apple in the future. There might be another successful cryptocurrency, but this is the stable one that is going to be used for people to expand money around the world. And you want to secure this asset to make sure you become wealthy. And then you can take some of your profits from this, and you can buy some Litecoin. You can buy some Dash. You can buy some Ethereum. But you want to not play with setting up wealth for yourself and your family by missing out on this growth of Bitcoin. That is first mover's advantage. This is where the money around the world will be moved over the internet. Is that clear, Jarvis? Did I lose him? Okay, he might have muted back out. I heard the dog barking. You probably did that.
Yeah, you didn't lose him.
Thank you. And
I my think dog started barking.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate your courtesy in muting out so we didn't have to hear that. And I think you said you had one other question as well, Jarvis?
No, I didn't. But I think that when I said D9, that was another company that was selling Bitcoins, that was mining Bitcoins. Yeah, D9. Yeah, well, that was something I heard about around here. But that's okay, though. I mean, I understand what you were talking about.
Yeah, here's why I recommend Bitclub Network, our track record. We started September 2014. By 2015, we were the 15th largest mining company in the world. 2016, last year, we were the 6th largest mining company in the world. With this other 200 petahash of equipment we're putting in by the end of this year, we should be within the top 3 mining companies in the world. And so there's a security to deal with a company that has the efficiency in mining. As I said, hundreds of thousands of people have tried mining. No other companies have the success and track record to move as quickly as we've had with Bitclub Network. So that's documented. You can go to blockchain.info and you can look at the graph that shows where the mining, 4 of the top 5 mining companies are all Chinese companies. One is called Bitfury, which actually builds mining equipment. That's Sir Richard Branson's company that he didn't put $30 million into. And so, yeah, thanks for showing the chart, because if you look on that chart there, you see Antpool as a Chinese company. They're doing 16% a day. Bitfury, Sir Richard Branson, 12% a day. BTC Top 11, FTP Pool 11. Those are Chinese companies. BTCC Pool 10. That's a Chinese company. Well, you see Bitclub Network there at 4.7. By the end of the year, we'll move into that top 3 with Bitfury and either Antpool or BTC Pool. And so our members will be sharing in that profit every day. And so when you're considering dealing with a mining operation, these companies you see here that are documented, They are responsible for some of the 98% of the mining of Bitcoin every day. So you definitely want to deal at least with one of these companies. And I recommend dealing with Bitclub Network because we're increasing capacity to get a bigger market share. So this is documented. And I saw another question on the chat where it was asking, I believe Peter was asking, what's a good Bitcoin wallet to recommend? And Peter, I really recommend blockchain.info. I love that wallet because they don't keep your password. You have complete and total privacy with that wallet. A lot of people in the US use Coinbase.com, but Coinbase, they have your information. They're sort of in control of your account. Also, Coinbase is coming under scrutiny by the IRS. The IRS wants to know who all Coinbase's members are. And so I recommend for you, if you're in the US, to set up your wallet at blockchain.info. It's completely secure. They don't even have your password. You're the only person in the world that can get into that account. And now you can have your private bank on your phone or on your cell phone, and you can move Bitcoin anywhere you want. So that's the wallet that I highly recommend. Let me see. Anyone else have any questions on the chat there? I got a great comment from Kyle, so I appreciate the encouragement, Kyle. And does anyone have any questions that they like to ask either by phone or over Zoom? Since we see nothing else there in the chat. Going once, going twice. Craig, I know you got there with some of the police officers at Santa Monica PD. Any of those guys got any questions or you think anything else I need to say or share for them? Can you unmute yourself and let me know?
Okay, let me see. Unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Anything else they need to know?
Yeah, one of the things you said when you first we talked and stuff. When I first got on about the police officers, you know, because they have a suspicion about everything. Not all of them, but some of them. And one of the things that Brenda brought up, she said, "Well, I don't want to end up like a lot of other officers where they have to go work a second job or be a consultant. I want to travel the world." So could you elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I told him, I said, look, I know this gentleman, you know, from like childhood and stuff, and he's not going to tell me anything. Like they just for the ones that are suspicious.
Well, first of all, if you are suspicious, if you are skeptical, you've got a track record. 2009, if you would have put 1,000 in Bitcoin, Bitcoin was at 10 cents a Bitcoin. $1,000 invested, you'd have 10,000 Bitcoin. This is you can just look at the record. You know, as an investigator, as a detective, just investigate. It's already proven. It was 10 cents in 2009. Last year, it was $950. So $1,000, 10,000 Bitcoin would be $9.5 million over that 7-year span. So that's the track record. So that cannot be disputed. There is no, if you would have made the investment, you'd have 9.5 million. You could travel, you could buy homes, you could buy cars, you could live the life off $1,000 investment. So obviously, if someone had told you that then, you'd have regret if you didn't put $1,000 in and do that. You would have wished you would have done it so you'd have the 9 million. That's why we're doing this call tonight. From our mining operation, we know we can get you, 30, 40, 50, 60 Bitcoin going into 2020 with a one founder's position, $3,600 investment. If you get 40 Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin will be up over 20,000 of Bitcoin. So that's $800,000. So yeah, 800,000, maybe you're not buying your dream home then, but you can definitely travel then. You set yourself up with some great wealth. But however, because you are mining, you still get new Bitcoin in 2021 and 2022 and 2025. And what's going to happen is Bitcoin's price will only rise because as more and more people utilize it, as more people are spending money over their internet, buying more stuff on Amazon, buying their Tesla cars, people will start selling their homes with Bitcoin. They don't want US dollars. They rather have Bitcoin. And so as more people use it, the price can only rise because there's a limited asset. There's only 21 million. They can't print up anymore. This is not like the US dollar where they print up more and more and more and make your money worth less. When more people use this, the price only goes up. That's how come they say when 1% of the world is using it, it'll be over 100,000 of Bitcoin. That's how come they're saying in 2030, every Bitcoin will be worth over $500,000. You are accumulating an asset where you can accumulate wealth. So we've got the proven track record. We've proven the success of our mining operations. We have a strategic plan to help you get more Bitcoin in 2020 before the next halving. And even after that halving, you still keep getting Bitcoin year in and year out. You can't lose on this deal. As a police officer, you're a public servant. You're working a job. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. They're getting by. This is a decision you can make in your life and get yourself wealthy. Get yourself multi-millions of dollars of wealth because you found out about the technology that's changing the world, but you found out about it before 99% of the world has. So the action you take tonight to set up your mining pools to keep getting an asset that will only rise in value for the rest of your life, and then upon your death, you can pass your accounts on to your children without having a taxable event because you just give them your account number and your password so they get your Bitcoin. It don't have to be reported to go ahead and have a tax event. So you have set up lifetime wealth for yourself and your generations by you making that decision to accumulate Bitcoin tonight. It's that simple, you guys. We've proven track record, proven mining. You'll get more and more Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's price will only rise as more and more people in the world utilize it. This is a way you can become a multi-millionaire instead of just working a job, paying your bills, getting by, and trying to retire and live off 40, 50, 60% of what you were just living off month in and month out anyway. This is a way to transform your life financially. That's why I'm so empowered and so happy to be able to share this with people. Is that clear enough, Craig? You muted yourself back out. Okay, Jeffrey, I see you're interactive with us. Any questions, Jeffrey? No? Okay, good to see you, man. Craig, was that?
You don't need any one day.
Yeah, are you here?
Yeah, was that clear enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Reggie. First, I want to thank you and we honor for you taking your time out of your busy schedule to share this information with us. Some of the questions I got was, you kind of explained it already, the difference between the competition, OneCoin. A lot of people are running into that, and that's their first experience with Bitcoin. So that's why there's this skepticism because they heard about OneCoin being a scam. But you explained eloquently why Bitclub Network is the reason why you can go with us with confidence because of the track record and because of the performance of the Bitclub Network. You did a great job on that. I just want to thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Let me just stop you right there because, as I said, there's over 600 different cryptocurrencies. That's because of the success of Bitcoin. This has been a phenomenon. This has been the #1 investment in the world. Uber hasn't outperformed this. Google, Facebook, nothing. This is the best investment in the world. So these other cryptocurrencies are trying to set up a story based off the success of Bitcoin. Of these 600 companies, 90% of them are scams. 90% of them are not real. 90% of them will not amount to anything. You only want to deal with real cryptocurrencies that provide real value. That's why you want to accumulate Bitcoin. It's like Microsoft was to the internet. That's what Bitcoin is. OneCoin, if you look to all the exchanges around the world, you won't even see OneCoin listed. It's not even a listed cryptocurrency. It has no credibility as a listed cryptocurrency. As I said, there's 600 different cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is by far the one where there's security for the long range. $1.5 billion was invested in terms of setting up the infrastructure for Bitcoin by venture capital, because this is what they're seeing spreading around the world. So that's the asset you want to accumulate. And then my value with Bitclub Network is that they advise us of other very credible coins. And they've advised us about Ethereum, the one that they say might be like Apple is to Microsoft. So we do mine for Ethereum. They've advised us about Zcash, a completely anonymous coin that can be accumulated. And so these other coins that have that potential to, be at $20, $30 right now and have that potential to be at $1,000 or $2,000 in 5-10 years, that's the coins we deal with. We do not deal with all this other stuff out there trying to piggyback off the success of Bitcoin. And Reggie, before I come back with you, I'm just going to take a question here where it said, can I explain the wallets again? The main wallet I recommend is Blockchain, BLOCK chain, CHAIN.info. That's the most secure wallet. That's where they don't keep your password. That's where you can place your wealth, and you're the only one in the world who has control of that. It's like your own private bank. So that's the wallet I recommend for people. And then Jim is saying Jim over in China is saying maybe they don't understand demand and supply. And that's the question with the police officers in terms of, if this is really real. Well, as I said, we have that 7-year track record. And since there's only going to be 21 million coins ever distributed of Bitcoin, 16 million of them have already been distributed. And so Bitcoin's at $1,100 right now. And right now, with only these other 5 million coins, it's going to take 100 years. The way this computer system is set up, 100 years for these last 5 million to be distributed. So it's a very slow process of that going into the world market. So that's how come with tens of thousands of people setting up wallets every day, more and more people learning about Bitcoin, more and more merchants accepting it. We just found out 260,000 merchants are going to be accepting Bitcoin in Japan this summer. Mexico is switching to this, Dubai, Singapore. There's so many countries wanting to take advantage and let people use Bitcoin. So when millions of people are using it, the price can only rise, supply and demand. When 1% of the world, 7 billion people in the world, 1% of that is 70 million people. All the economists have said when 1%, 70 million people are moving value, moving wealth over the internet with Bitcoin, that the price has to be over 100,000 a coin. Today it's 1,100 a coin. By accumulating this asset, by getting Bitcoin year in and year out for the rest of your life, all you can do is accumulate wealth. This is the best business decision you can make for your financial future. I'm not saying that as a novice. I'm saying that as a person who has made millions in investments, who has helped over 100 people become millionaires. This is the best way that an average ordinary person can take a couple $1,000s and make themselves and their family become multi-millionaires, period. All right, and we're about 7 minutes to the top of the hour here, so we'll take one other question and we'll go ahead and close out. Anybody else have a question for me? Or Reggie, were you finished? Hi. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you did. You good job.
Oh, thank you, Reggie.
This is Jason from San Jose.
Hi, Jason. Go right ahead.
Hey, I had a question. I have two questions. One question is, do you have any recommended VPN solutions? Because I know we're...
That's great. I'm glad you brought that up. Everyone in the U.S., we have you enter your Bitclub Network account for a VPN called a virtual private network. That gives you security. That is a way you can keep your investment anonymous. And so the VPNs we recommend, you can just do a Google search and find one yourself. Or if you want to hear just some that I have heard that are really good, there's a company called purevpn.com, Pure, P-U-R-E. There's a company, I think purevpn.com, it's only like $2 a month. And so that's probably the cheapest. I use one called expressvpn.com, but that's $10 a month. I was told the other day in our chat room about a free VPN, and I think it was called surevpn.com. I'm not sure of that, though. Anybody remember the name of that? What was the name of that VPN they said was completely free? Anybody know?
No.
Okay. I think it might be Sure. So try surevpn.com. as a free VPN, but I know Pure VPN works great. I know Express VPN works great, and Pure VPN is only $2 a month if you can't find a free one. But by securing this way, and when we've done these calls in the past, I've had guests who were uncomfortable about the tax haven aspect of this investment. And I hope you understand the wealthiest people in the world, they use tax havens. They use accounts in the Caymans. They use Swiss bank accounts. They use ways to keep their money outside of the prying eyes of the government. And so this is an asset you can accumulate, and you can use it as a tax haven. However, if you're uncomfortable with that, if you're like, man, I accumulate $1 million, but I want the government to know I got the $1 million, then you can report it. All you have to do, you got it, report it, and just pay your capital gains tax. It's not under the jurisdiction of the United States government. It's not under the jurisdiction of any bank. It's in an account on your computer that no one knows about. But if you are more comfortable with paying taxes because that's something you want to do to support your government, then go ahead and do so. Be happy with that. You can pay taxes on all the wealth you accumulate. But people who become wealthy in the world understand how to use tax havens. And that's one of the advantages I love about this, because it's not under the jurisdiction of the U.S. government. And so it can be accumulated outside of, and if you spend it on the Visa card, obviously if you move your Bitcoin back into U.S. dollars, so if you place it in your bank account, then that creates a tax event. You have to pay capital gains tax. But we're sharing with you how to take the Bitcoin you have in your account and you load it on a Visa card. So you spend it anywhere Visa, it's in Bitcoin. It's no taxable event being created then. You spend it and book your flights on Expedia.com. That doesn't create a taxable event. You buy your Tesla and you buy your Tesla with Bitcoin. That doesn't create a taxable event. So if you spend it in Bitcoin, it's outside of the jurisdiction of the government. But if you're uncomfortable with that, then just take all your profits and report it and pay taxes on it. That's completely up to you. So I'm sorry, I know in San Jose you had two questions and I sort of went on a tangent there. What was your second question?
Thanks. All right, so thanks for that. My second question was, so I don't know if you know anything about ASIC boost and the technology and the patents that they're coming out with. I mean, is there any perspective on that, or is that too early to comment on at this time?
To me, that is the advantage of mining with Bitclub Network. We have the top experts in the world who deal with all that, so we don't have to. So they buy the latest equipment. They get it at the cheapest price because we buy in quantity. We just bought GPU chips to mine Ethereum and to mine Monero and to mine one other one, Monero, Ethereum. Well, we just allowed our members to do that. They bought GPU chips to where these chips might cost $1,000 because of the quantities we bought it. We got it at wholesale. We're buying it for our members at like $300 a chip. And so the ASIC technology, if that's going to be the latest, that's the best thing for mining. If that's the best way to get more and more wealth for our members, our leadership team makes that decision. They place these equipment in places around the world that has the lowest energy costs, using geothermal energy. So we have our facility in Iceland, 45 acre facility in Iceland, completely filled up with mining equipment. We just got another facility we're filling up right now in Canada on geothermal energy to have the electrical costs down as low as possible so that more of the mining profits can be distributed to our members every day. So I'm making a very long answer, but the short answer is that our leadership team, that's what they're experts in. They make those decisions, the chips, where to place them, how to get as much wealth as possible for our members. And that wealth is just placed in your account every day, and you just see it accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. And that's the advantages of your membership with Bitclub Network.
All right. Thanks, Jet.
Hey, my pleasure. My pleasure. All right. I think that was a great question to close out on. You guys, once again, thank the person who shared this information with you and letting you know about how to take advantage of the #1 investment in the world. Like I said, you got the information now. You could take 3,600 and buy some Bitcoin, and you could get 3 Bitcoin. If it's 20,000 in 2020, that would grow to 60,000 for you. If it's 100,000 2025, those 3 would be $300,000. That's a great investment. You can do that. But by this mining and being able to get 40, 50, 60 Bitcoin 2020, and then getting another 10, 12 Bitcoin 2021, and another 10, 12 2022, and year in and year out for the rest of your lifetime getting new Bitcoin as this price rises, this is a thing that can set you completely free financially. I challenge you to take action on that. I say if you've got a 401k or IRA, man, move 10,000. I don't care if you got to pay a penalty. Pay the penalty, move it into something that's going to make you millions, because you know where you're saving in right now is not going to secure you multi-million-dollar wealth. This investment will. On that note, aloha, my friends in Alaska, my friends in California, got on, Nevada. Good to talk to you guys. Have a wonderful evening and take care. Aloha.